Good afternoon, all. How are you? This is Sherry Pittman, and I'm coming to you from Sankofa Wealth. And I am going to do my very first, if you would, podcast. I'm trying some new things and seeing how they work out. I'm pretty excited about it. Um, Continuing my story, the hook, the story, and the offer. So right now we're going to dive into part two, which is the story. Um, Usually I'm working with entrepreneurs and affiliate marketers and internet marketers. And so my content is directed to help us be more successful in targeting our audience and presenting our offers, telling our stories, and the things that we need to include in our hooks. Um, so let's talk about the story. Um, there are different ways to approach telling your story. Um, if you're an internet marketer, you may want to um, tell about yourself, your journey, the things that have impacted you to get to the place that you are today. Some may call that your epiphany. You may want to include that in your blog. Anytime that you are doing an offer, you always want to start a little bit by telling your story, who you are, and why you have come to be in this location that you are with this product or service or however that you're trying to present to your clientele. Your story wants to include those aha moments, those moments when the light bulb came on and you were able to connect with a new idea or a new way of seeing things, a new point of view that is going to impact how you present things or connect closer to your audience. Everything at the end of the day is always about connecting with your audience. So we do that um, by telling our story. My story, personally, I started uh, back in 2001. I used to work at the May Company, which was a very large retail chain nationwide. They had different stores like Famous Bar, Lord and Taylor. I think I can't even remember. I want to say Knights Limited, but I'm not really sure if that was part of them or if that was some other company that I work for. But they have stores inside the malls, upscale stores, and I worked with their credit department. I was quite good at it actually, working in the collections department. Back in those days, they paid really well. They had a pretty good starting salary, and then the more people that you got to pay their bills, they would give you bonuses. And so I was with a pretty good team, and we bonused almost every month. And for a young person, freshly out of college, single, I thought I was doing pretty good. But after about 4 years or so, the more and more I learned about the credit and collections business, I realized that I really was not helping anyone. And that started to weigh heavily on my spirit. That every month I was getting people to make minimum payments, and there was never a solution to the problem. And it troubled me to be in that position. So one thing led to another. I started learning more and more about credit and things of that nature. And I had a friend of mine that worked there who had a relative that worked at Ford Motor Company. And they had this list, of referrals for new hires. So she put my name on a referral list. And I think the way they worked is if you got someone hired, then they would get some kind of bonus. So my name remained on that list for about a year. And during that year, I was desperately looking for some other type of work that would provide me the lifestyle that I had gotten accustomed to, or better. And another friend, I think her name was Valencia at the time, referred me to a company called New Frontier Financial. And this was headed by Mr. Prentice Holland, who I love and adore still to this day, because he was one of the greatest mentors I ever had. I've had quite a few since him, but he basically is the benchmark for me in the turn of events that have happened so far as my knowledge of real estate, insurance, just how banking works, how to basically financial law is concerned. He was an awesome salesperson. He taught me so well that I was able to close my first loan processing and actually capturing a client, going through all the paperwork, shopping the deal with different banks in 6 weeks. And 6 weeks may sound like a really long time, but really the way that they did business, I was in business for myself. We didn't get a salary. Everything was commission. I believe my first commission for the first loan I ever closed, I believe, was about 10 grand. I mean, so my life was changed after that. Wow. I mean, I think I probably was about, maybe 23, somewhere in that area. And for years, every time I got paid, I kept the check stubs to always remind me of my value. I mean, I still may have them somewhere here. I'm pretty sure that I do. Because I remember looking at them in times where things were a little hard. And to look at those check stubs from when I was just a kiddo reminded me that there was something great inside of me for making some of the choices that I made even as a young person. So then to continue with my story, so we had the market crash in 2008, 9, and 10. And I remember as we were leading up to those years, that year, there was buzz in the industry that the market is going to crash. The market is going to crash. And at that time, I was so young and so wet behind my ears. I had no idea what it meant for a market to crash. I had no idea what the fallout of that would be, or what that looked like. I didn't know how to prepare for it. All I could tell you is one day I was able to transact loans, and the next day, every time I would get close to transacting or closing a deal, the banks would change all of their stipulations, and then the deal was unclosable.